Hello everybody and welcome to another video here on the Cinema Speak YouTube channel. My name is Brad. I'm the host of the Cinema Speak podcast, and on today's episode, we've got another top 10 list for you. We're counting down my top 10 Scream Factory Blu-ray releases of all time. Now, Scream Factory, one of the bigger boutique labels out there. Of course, they're a division of Shout Factory. They put out a lot of great stuff. They also put out a lot of crap. So we're going to be sorting through the crap. Actually, they put out a lot of good stuff. Every once in a while, they have some sketchy releases. But overall, I love Scream Factory, so we're counting down my top 10 favorites. Now, I know what you're thinking. Somebody out there is going to say, hey, why didn't you include the deliciously sexy Friday the 13th Blu-ray release complete collection set? And I will say to that, shut up, because I just don't own it. These are my top 10 ones that I own. If you're really going to have that much of a conniption that I didn't include the Friday the 13th set on my list, you feel free to donate to me $100 and I'll add it to my number one spot. But hey, listen, I'm too poor to own every Scream Factory release. So if there's a problem with my list, send me some money or the problem is on you. But anyway, let's just have some fun. Let's get all the rage out now. We're going to be counting down the top 10 favorite Scream Factory Blu-rays, kicking it off with number 10, House on Haunted Hill, the 1999 remake. Now, I've always had a very soft spot for this remake. I think this remake is a lot of fun. Of course, it stars Jeffrey Rush, Ali Larter is in here. Who else is in here? Taye Diggs. I mean, you got an awesome cast in here. And I think this is a really fun remake. It kind of kicked off the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhat remake, just kind of like goofy, haunted housey things. 13 Ghosts falls into this zone. Ghost Ship would be in this zone as well. And I definitely think this is my favorite of them. I do like that new artwork. Very simple, but I think it looks good. And of course, you've got the classic House on Haunted Hill artwork on the inside. I mean, this release, it's nothing like that special. And I will say that when it comes to this list, I'm considering the film, I'm considering the transfer, I'm kind of considering the bonus features, I'm considering the whole package, baby. But yeah, if you have not seen the House on Haunted Hill remake, great atmosphere, a lot of fun, very goofy, but it's definitely worth checking out. I love the whole amusement park sequence in the intro. That's one of my favorites. Jeffrey Rush does a great job at filling the Vincent Price shoes. And yeah, not a ton of special features on here. Some new interviews, a vintage featurette. That's about all. So, as far as the package goes, it's not that great, but this is one of my favorite films that they've put out, just because I have such a soft spot for it. And it wasn't released on Blu-ray in North America until this release came about on the shores. So thank goodness Scream Factory finally did us right and put out House on Haunted Hill. Now, House on Haunted Hill, that was a collector's edition. This next one, not deemed a collector's edition, but I think it's a great film nonetheless. It is Session 9. Session 9, my friend Trevor from the Catching Up on Cinema podcast, we were talking about the iconic fuck you line delivery in this from, what's his name? Is it David Caruso? David Caruso's iconic delivery of the fuck you, which you've probably seen on YouTube hundreds of dozens of times, if that's even an expression. But Session 9, aside from that really weirdly delivered line, which does occur at a very pivotal moment in the film, I think Session 9 is a very effective atmospheric horror film. Love the location. I think the cast is actually pretty solid, other than that weird David Caruso delivery. I love the tapes that they listen to and just the audio, the voice on the tapes. Gordon. Very ominous and atmospheric, and I really like Session 9. Now, this one is not a collector's edition because Scream Factory looked at this and said, this piece of shit is not getting our collector's edition treatment, unlike Texas Chainsaw, the next generation, which of course they thought was worthy of a collector's edition. I mean, this one, maybe it's just because there was not that many new bonus features here. I mean, there's a featurette with Brad Anderson interviews, some interview from Stephen Gevedin, who I assume is part of the cast. So, I mean, there are some bonus features here. I assume just not enough bonus features to warrant a collector's edition, because I think this really could have been a collector's edition. I think it's a worthy enough film. But yeah, if you have not seen Session 9 and you've only seen the YouTube video that's gone viral, wake up, people. This is a solid film. My number 9, and I didn't even realize that number 9 is Session 9. Booyah! Coming in at number 8 on my top 10 Scream Factory Blu-ray releases of all time, it is Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp is deemed a collector's edition, I believe. Yes, I do not own the slipcover on this because I suck. Hey, Listen, we can't all be perfect, all right? Sleepaway Camp is one of my favorite camp slasher films. This was a blind buy when I bought it, and it totally blew me away. Now, I will say the highlight of this movie is without a doubt the twist ending, which in today's climate probably wouldn't fly, but looking at it from, the climate of 1983, you can kind of just, put yourself in those shoes and say this movie was made nearly 30 years ago. Or over 30. Holy fuck, almost 40 years ago. Jesus. Oh my God. So this film is older. So there are some very dated elements. And I will say that the twist ending is pretty dated, but it is very effective, I think. And I do like the ending quite a bit. I have not seen the sequels, but I think this one is just definitely a standout Scream Factory release. It is one of their early releases, so like picture quality, not going to be the greatest. And there's not a ton of bonus features on here. There's some interviews. There's a new commentary. Not a ton of stuff on here because this is an early Scream Factory release, but I think the film is great. And I will say, I would not be too surprised if Papa Scream Factory one day comes knocking on our doors and say, hey, we've got a 4K of Sleepaway Camp in the works, so get your wallets out and give me that money. I definitely could see them doing a 4K of Sleepaway Camp, so keep that in mind. I would not be surprised if this is one they up to the 4K treatment. But yeah, it's an awesome film. If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, one of my favorite summer camp slashers. I definitely like this more than The Burning. Friday the 13th, it is a summer camp slasher, but the kids aren't actually there, so it's a little different. But yeah, this is a great summer camp slasher. Check it out, baby! Coming in next in my list is number 7. Number 7 is Child's Play. Child's Play. Now, I will say, as far as the films go, Child's Play, actually, I probably like the film less than each of the other 3 films I've talked about. I know what you're thinking. This guy's just admitted that he likes the remake of House on Haunted Hill more than Child's Play. What a fuck. Well, that might be true, but honestly, I think Child's Play is a really good film. I don't think it's a great film. I understand why it's a classic. Chucky is an awesome character. I love the setup for it. It's just, it's a very good slasher. I think there could be more kills in it, to be honest. That's what I remember the last time I saw it. But I love just the effects of Chucky. I think it's very well done. Why this film is bumped up to number 7 over those other films is because this is a stacked release. I mean, we got a new 2K scan, new audio commentary, new behind-the-scenes footage, new tons of new interview with special effects artists. Like, this is a packed release, 2 discs. It is highly recommended. And, of course, Child's Play is a classic. So while it might not be my favorite film out of these top 10, of course, it is without a doubt a classic that, you're going to be watching every so often because it's just part of the pop culture lexicon, of course. So if you want to own a release of Child's Play, this is a good one to do. I would say that, yeah, I could see this potentially somehow getting a 4K treatment. Now, whether it's through Scream Factory or I don't know who owns the rights to Child's Play, but with, they just had the remake, they got the TV show. I would not be surprised if down the road there is a 4K of some sort for Child's Play. Now, it might not be through Scream Factory, so it could be bare bones, so you might want to own this for the bonus features and maybe pick up the 4K down the road. I don't know. We're speculating at this point, and who gives a fuck? Now, my next release, my number 6, my 6th favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray release of all time. This one could be controversial. Very controversial. It is The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, we know that Scream Factory loves John Carpenter. They go nuts for this guy. They are cuckoo for Carpenter. And the reason that this is controversial is because you might think that The Thing should be higher up on my list. I will say, this might be I think this is my favorite movie that Scream Factory has ever put out. The Thing is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. If you have not seen The Thing, just shut this goddamn video off. What the hell are you doing wasting your time watching me dick around on YouTube? Go watch The Thing. But if you have seen The Thing, let's get into this Blu-ray release. Now, I will say, one thing I'm not crazy about, I really am not crazy about that cover art. I really am not a huge fan of it. I mean, of course, I'm pretty sure on the inside, we've got the reversible, iconic artwork. Come on, baby. There it is. There we go. We love it. But it's just like, of course, they want to have newly commissioned artwork for the Scream Factory release. But how do you top the iconic poster. There's nothing that can top the poster. But I feel like if they had gone something like extremely minimal, like maybe they could have done something a little better. This is just kind of, I don't know, like all the characters, it's fine. It's okay. Kurt Russell kind of looks like a grizzly man on there. I mean, it's all right, whatever. I will say you got a new transfer on this, which is supervised by director of photography, the wonderful Dean Cundy, highly underrated cinematographer. You do have lots of new featurettes on here. I will say part of the reason that this is not higher is because, yeah, there is a 4K of this already confirmed in the works. So that's coming out later this year, I believe. So I don't know if the picture quality, how it's going to compare. I don't even know what features are on that upcoming release. But just a word of warning that there will be a 4K of this. And I don't know, just really the cover art on this one just kind of gross to me. I'm not crazy about that artwork. So that kind of brings it down. And just the fact that, there's going to be many releases of the thing until we're dead. Like, this movie will keep getting released and re-released and re-released until I'm dead in the ground. Or maybe I'll be cremated and scattered somewhere. Either way, this movie will get many more releases. This is a great release, a great release, but I'm not going to say, like, this is the be-all, end-all release for the thing. And that artwork, I'm getting sick just looking at it. I don't like it. Coming in at number 5. Number 5, my 5th favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray release of all time is The Return of the Living Dead Collector's Edition. This movie is so much fun, and I actually had never seen this until picking up the Scream Factory Blu-ray. It was a blind spot for me. I'm embarrassed to say that this was the first time I'd ever seen it. It's such a fun, upbeat, energetic zombie comedy. Great gore, memorable zombies, and it is a stacked release. 2 discs, we got a 2K scan, audio commentaries. Like, how many? Let's count this here. We got one new audio commentary, 2 new audio commentaries, a 3rd audio commentary of vintage, a 4th audio. So there's 4 audio commentaries on this. We've also got new featurettes, new interviews. I mean, Horror's Hallowed Ground. This release is absolutely stacked. It's such a fun zombie comedy. It's awesome. I own the sequels. I have not watched them yet, but this is an awesome zombie film. Just the idea of, mixing the punk scene with zombies, it's a lot of fun. This artwork does not make me want to barf, so it gets a point up in that book. And yeah, it's a really, really fun film. So check out The Return of the Living Dead, my 5th favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray release of all time. And my 4th entry in this list. I'm not going to read the full title again. I'm sick of that shit. My 4th pick for Scream Factory Blu-rays is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is another one of my favorite films of all time. I love Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I love that artwork. Now, I guess I will say this one, maybe I bumped this a little too high, but it's too late to go back now. I mean, there's a good amount of special features on here, but it looks like a lot of it is just ported over features. Like, there are some new interviews with Brooke Adams, but a lot of this is just like vintage features. So not a ton of new stuff on here, but if you have not seen the Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake, you got to check it out. This has always been one of my favorite sci-fi films, and it's just one that every so often you just want to go back to. The cast is great, very creepy, just the sense of impending doom that just like hovers over the whole movie is great, and some awesome effects, and I just love the concept. I think it takes the concept of the original, but taking it from that small town in the 50s version, putting it in the city for this version and following this group of characters, I think it works extremely well. Invasion of the Body Snatchers rocks, baby! Woo! Number 3, my 3rd favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray of all time. In 3rd place, it is Michael Mann's Manhunter. Man, I love Michael Mann, and man, I love Manhunter. Manhunter is such a great film. This is the first film to feature Hannibal Lecter. Now, it does not feature Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. This is actually Brian Cox in the role of Hannibal Lecter. Now, I will say that probably the Hannibal Lecter stuff in this is probably some of the weaker aspects of the film, because it wasn't until Silence of the Lambs that people just lost it for Lecter. Everybody went loco for Lecter. But in this one, Hannibal Lecter, he's a part of the story, but he wasn't that iconic villain yet. The main villain in this one is the Tooth Fairy, played by Tom Noonan. I love Tom Noonan. Such a great presence, such a great voice. He is awesome as the villain in this. Very stylish film. Michael Mann is an awesome filmmaker, and I think this might be my favorite Michael Mann film. I love Heat. or not. I do love Heat, but Thief. I would say either Manhunter or Thief are my two favorite films by Michael Mann. I love the scene with the Tooth Fairy character in the car when he's watching his girlfriend and that other guy, and he's, that whole sequence is great. The big climactic battle in the house is awesome. Manhunter's got style for days. Love that artwork. That is beautiful. We've also got some great features here. We've got two versions of the film. It does feature the director's cut that does have standard definition inserts, but I do believe this is like the only way you can get the director's cut, at least on Blu-ray. So for that alone, this is great. You've got the theatrical and the director's cut. You've got new interviews for this release. It rocks. I think I like Silence of the Lambs more, but every time I watch Manhunter, that gap just gets closer and closer. So one day, Manhunter could overtake Silence of the Lambs. We'll wait and see. Number 2, my second favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray release of all time is Army of Darkness, directed by Sam Raimi. Now, Army of Darkness, I would say out of the 3 original Evil Dead trilogy films, it's probably my least favorite, but this release is insane. 3 discs on here, 3 different versions of the film. You've got the theatrical version, you've got the director's cut, you've even got the international cut. So it's like there's so many versions of this film, I don't even know which one to watch when I pop this in the player. But you've also got a new feature-length documentary. Like, my goodness, a new feature-length documentary and 3 different versions of the film. I'm almost sweating not putting this at number 1 because this release is awesome. Now, I will say, I know there's some people out there who are freaking out. They're screaming at their screens right now. They're like, this guy, does he not know that there was a disc replacement program for the Army of Darkness Blu-ray? That's true. Scream Factory, and I don't know if it's been fixed since. I have no idea. I don't know the exact specifics. They did fuck up this release. There was like, I think it was on the international cut, there was like a few segments where like just like the screen went black. You just lost visual for like, a half second, and that happened a couple times. So they did have to put out a replacement program. So they do lose a few points on that. That was a big fuck up on their end, but this release is so good that, and the fact that they were willing to replace those issues, you can get a replacement disc. You just have to email them. Scream Factory, I've never had bad customer service from them, because they do tend to do that from time to time. They'll have a mistake on their release, but every time that happens, they almost always do a disc replacement program and replace it, no charge at all. So they're awesome that they do that. And Army of Darkness, great release. Really good film. My number 2 favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray. And like I said at the beginning, I do not own the Friday the 13th collection because I know people love that collection and it is a beautiful set, but I do not own it. So sorry, Jason, you're out of there. Disqualified. 3 strikes, you're out. But one person who did not get disqualified is my boy, Jason's brother, Michael Myers, the Halloween Complete Collection from Scream Factory. Now, I will say, this is, it's the full, everything from John Carpenter's original all the way to Rob Zombie Halloween 2. Now, this is the one version that came with just like 2 cases like this, where you've got them like multiple films in one case, because there was the original version that came out where they had like 10 individual black cases, and that release is beautiful, but I kind of actually prefer this because it just fits easier on the shelf. The one downside to this is, I could be misremembering, but I'm fairly certain that this does not include the producer's cut of Halloween 6. That is the one bummer with this release compared to the full set with each disc containing their own case. This does not have the producer's cut of Halloween 6. I know. Big bummer. That sucks. But aside from that, if you're a Halloween fan, this is a must-buy. Now, yeah, to be fair, Scream Factory, they're putting out the first 5 Halloween films on 4K, which is very cool. I do already own the original on 4K, so we'll see how that compares picture quality-wise. But it is cool they're putting out the sequels on 4K. I know everybody was shitting on that artwork, the artwork for the new Halloween 4Ks, and I will say, not the greatest. I really like this, just nice and simple, real nice cover there. It's the new stuff. It's a little much. I don't know. For a film that relies on minimalism, they really kind of stuff the covers on those new 4Ks. So I'm not crazy about them. They're not awful by any means, but I think for now, I'm happy to have this set. And who knows, they may down the line put out every single film in the series on 4K. but for right now, they're only putting up until number 5. So kind of weird. So it's almost like you got to own this to have 6 through the Halloween 2 Rob Zombie version, and then you can maybe get those original 5 on 4K through Scream Factory. We'll see how the picture quality shakes down on those. But yeah, if you're a Halloween fan like I am, I think this is my favorite slasher franchise. I know a lot of people prefer Friday the 13th. I've always been a bit more of a Michael Myers boy for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I love Halloween, the original, one of my favorite movies of all time. And just the fact that, every time Halloween rolls around, you kind of get the urge to pop some of these in the Blu-ray player, even if it's the Busta Rhymes version where he kicks Michael Myers out a window. Even that, sometimes you just want to watch. So, this is definitely worth owning. Now, this is out of print, so you're going to have to buy this big boy secondhand, and it's going to cost you a pretty penny. I don't recommend doing that because, like I said, they're already putting the first 5 out on 4K. I mean, do you really need to have H2O in... I mean, you would maybe want it in high definition, but, are they going to put it out on 4K? I don't know. But at least you can buy the first 5 on 4K. That is coming up. I would say maybe just buy those for the time being. Although you could wait and maybe they'll put them all out on a set in 4K. I don't know. Either way, they're going to get your money. Who gives a shit how? I love this set. I'm not giving it up. Sorry. I'm not selling this thing. Too bad. But yeah, this is my number 1 Scream Factory set, and I'm so happy and proud to have it on my shelf. So that's it. Those are my top 10 favorite Scream Factory releases. Of course, there's a lot of great Scream Factory releases that I do not own, so if I don't own them, I'm not going to put them on my list. So again, sorry, Jason. What are some other great ones that I don't own? I don't know. There's a lot of them. But either way, let me know, what is your favorite Scream Factory Blu-ray? There's a lot of great ones, tons that I missed, and I want to hear what you think should be added to the list. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. My name is Brad. I'm the host of the Cinema Speak podcast. We have a weekly podcast where we review movies. Check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and wherever you find your shows. Just search for Cinema Speak and you can find our weekly podcast. And here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment. Make sure you do all that shit because we're putting out good quality content. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.